Okay, so now when we talk about the green part of here, so these are just going to repeat. So you can see based on reflection that this point over here, that's 5, 6, is the same as pi over 6. So remember we talked about reference angles? And so if you have this one that's actually all the way around, it will be equal to the reference angle. So root 3 over 2, 1/2, that's going to be the same over here, except for the x-coordinate is going to turn negative. So right here would be negative root 3 over 2, and then the y-coordinate is still going to be positive, because we're still going at a positive value. So here, this is 3/4 pi, and so my reference angle would be pi over 4. And so it's going to be the same as this, but the x is going to be negative. So I'll have negative root 2 over 2, and then I'll have root 2 over 2. This one is going to be the same as pi over 3, so it's going to be negative 1/2, and pi over 3, 2. Okay, so you're always going to use the first quadrant as your reference angle. Of course, when you go down to here, they're going to be the same, so it'll be the same as this point here, except it's going to be both negatives. And then when you get to this quadrant, the x is going to be positive and the y is going to be negative. So go ahead and take a minute to pause and fill in the rest of that on your unit circle. Alright, so now let's talk about how do we actually determine the terminal point for each real number. Okay, so if I have 8/3 pi, I want to figure out how many times am I going to go around. So I'm going to actually convert it into a mixed number. So if I have 8/3, that's actually 2 and 2/3 pi. So let's look how far I'm going to go around. If I start here, it's positive, so I'm going to go counterclockwise. So if I go 2, I get all the way back to here. And so now I just need 2/3. So if I look, I have here is 1/3, and then if I come over to here, this would then be 2/3. So there's my answer. I look at 2/3, and I have negative 1/2, and I have root 3 over 2. Okay, now, when I look at negative 11/6 pi, so I'm going to, again, convert that into a mixed number. So that's going to be 1 and 5/6. Okay, so I know that it's going to go around 1 whole time and then 5/6 more. So if I look from here, I can see 5/6. If I look, I have 1/6, 2/6, 3/6. Okay. Alright, I'm going to go around negative 1 and 5/6 times. So I need to go in a clockwise manner. So here's all the way to 1. And then if I need to get to 5/6, I need to go 1 and 5/6. So I know that when I'm talking about 6, it's in 30-degree increments. So I would see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and right there is 5/6. So if I go 1 and 5/6, I go almost all the way around again here, so you can see that my answer is going to be root 3, 2, 1/2. And that's going to be the terminal point. Alright, so let's try 5 pi. So 5 pi should be pretty easy. Remember that the whole time around is 2. So if I go all the way around once, there's 2. All the way around a second time, there's 4. And then if I need one more, I'm going to go right to here. And so the point right here, which we didn't mark off, is actually negative 1, 0. And so 5 pi, stop, stop, shh. Okay, so if I go 5 pi, that's 2 full times around and then 1 more, 1/2. So that gives me, at this point, which is negative 1, 0. Alright, let's try one more. So, if I have 10 pi over 3, okay, if I have 10 pi over 3, so that's going to go in 3 and 1/3 times. So if I start here, I go all the way around, and that's 2 pi. Now I have 3 pi, and then 1/3. So 3 and 1/3, I went around 3 pi, now I need 1/3 more. So remember that a third is going to be in terms of 60 degrees. So that means I'm going to go 1/3 more, which will be right to this point. Okay? So if I'm looking at this point right here and I want to know the terminal point of that point, remember I can look up to this one and it's going to be the same as that one except both negative. So it's going to be negative 1/2 negative root 3 over 2. Okay, and hopefully on your quiz you're going to memorize this, and basically once you know the first quadrant, everything just repeats, so you can use that information to fill it out, and then you'll be able to use your unit circle that you created to answer questions like this. Okay, so you just break it down to a mixed number, figure out how many times you go around, and then you can just use the reference angle to help you figure out your answer.